Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in the show, Tzu Chi volunteers in Indonesia are celebrating the opening ceremony of the newly built Jingsi Hall. In our feature report on BRT systems worldwide, we take a look at how the BRT is benefiting the residents of Jinan City in China. And in Guatemala, Tzu Chi volunteers are holding a free clinic in San Agustin, helping over 1,300 people. Last Sunday, October 7th, Tzu Chi volunteers in Indonesia held an opening ceremony for the newly built Jingsi Hall, which is also the largest worldwide. Volunteers hope with a new spiritual ground that they will be able to gather more people to spread the love to those in need.
Jingsi Hall is the home to all Tzu Chi volunteers, and it is also our spiritual fortress. After 3 years and 6 months of construction, it is finally ready for opening today.
At the opening ceremony of the Jingsi Hall, Tzu Chi volunteers from around the globe walk in line and head towards the new building. With every step they take, the volunteers are ever more determined to walk the Tzu Chi path.
Here today, I'm really grateful to you for coming, our brothers and sisters, as well as all of the Tzu Chi members. It is because of your support that we have Tzu Chi.
Students under Tzu Chi's education system also seize the opportunity to show their gratitude. And Indonesia Tzu Chi volunteers put on a sign language performance to pray for a world free of disasters. The opening of the Jingsi Hall has pulled the volunteers closer together.
Gedung Jingsi, yeah.
The construction of Indonesia Jingsi Hall is built on the foundation of harmony and Tzu Chi's humanitarian spirit. It is not built for a specific religion or faith.
In events ranging from charity to humanitarian missions and education, Tzu Chi has the national and international network to gain worldwide resources and have a profound influence.
Prior to the big celebration, volunteers worked hard with the preparations. Some were busy with the final cleaning, while others made sweet sticky rice dumplings as desserts. Volunteers in charge of the handicrafts also prepared 4,000 sets of gift packs for their guests.
Inside our gift bag, we have included a pair of socks because you have to take off your shoes when you are inside the Jingsi Hall. So we have included these socks for all our guests.
Hand in hand, with no ethnicity or religious boundaries, volunteers are ready to continue working together to make a difference.
To celebrate the establishment of the Indonesia Jingsi Hall, Tzu Chi volunteers from the United States, Thailand, the Philippines, Taiwan, and other countries all flew to Indonesia to witness this historical moment. The volunteers also visited the Angke River, where Tzu Chi had helped with cleanup and the building of the Cingkarang DaAi village. Flying to Indonesia from the United States, Thailand, the Philippines, and Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteers from around the world arrived in Jakarta to join the opening ceremony of the Indonesia Jingsi Hall. In 2002, Tzu Chi volunteers helped with the cleaning of the Angke River and the building of Cingkarang DaAi village. At Cingkarang DaAi village, many of the residents here used to live by the Angke River. The volunteers educated the local residents on the importance of recycling, and many have started to work at the recycling station to earn money. At the Jingsi Hall, children that used to live by the Angke River also put on a performance.
Many of the children that used to live by the Angke River are now high school students. The performance of the Thousand-Hand Buddha was wonderful. We think that it is great that we can nurture these children to become better people. It is such an honor for us Tzu Chi volunteers.
I'm very touched by today's event because in the past, most of the Tzu Chi places were filled with people that spoke Chinese or had a Chinese background. Today, I didn't see many Asian faces. It is wonderful to see so many people of a different race or faith. I think Tzu Chi's humanitarian spirit will spread further in Indonesia and plant the seeds of goodness in everyone's heart.
Students also put on sign language performance to remind everyone of the importance of protecting our earth. The volunteers join the children and are very happy to see the growth in them. Construction work for Indonesia Jingsi Hall began in May of 2009, and this year on October 7th, it was finally completed. To mark the occasion for the past 3 months, volunteers have been preparing various performances, including a sign language show based on the treacherous journey taken by Venerable Jianzhen to spread Buddhism in Japan. In spite of the language barrier, the volunteers all did their best to remember the movements. Following the music, on-stage volunteers are rehearsing the sign language performance that will be performed at the opening ceremony of the Indonesia Jingsi Hall. In spite of the language barriers, the volunteers work extra hard to remember the lyrics.
At home, I will practice sign language every morning. The more I practice, the more I remember the movements.
In Indonesia, 80% of the population are Muslims. Therefore, many are not familiar with Buddhist stories. However, the volunteers work extra hard so they can put on a perfect performance based on the treacherous journey taken by Venerable Jianzhen to spread Buddhism to Japan.
I needed to shave my head so I can look more like Venerable Jianzhen. I don't think I look bad without hair. I'm really happy to be part of the performance.
This time, the performance is joined by 54 male volunteers. Among the volunteers is Ye Bingnan, who suffers from hearing loss. Ye has been a devoted volunteer since 2009. Although he cannot hear anything, he has still overcome this limitation to take part in the performance.
I want to see Master Zheng Yan.
On the day of the opening ceremony, other than the sign language performance, the volunteers also focus on the theme of unity. Since July, the volunteers have been holding regular volunteer training workshops, hoping to encourage more people to carry on Tzu Chi's missions.
The opening of the Jingsi Hall will be the most important day for Tzu Chi in Indonesia. We need to work really hard so we can put on a good performance. We want to show other Tzu Chi volunteers the strong bond between us Indonesian Tzu Chi volunteers.
Since May of 2009, Indonesia Tzu Chi volunteers have been building their Jingsi Hall, and after 3 years of hard work, the building is finally complete. It will be a spiritual home for volunteers and a cultivation ground to encourage more people to walk the Bodhisattva path. The opening of Indonesia Jingsi Hall marks an important milestone of Tzu Chi's work in the country. To prepare for the occasion, Jakarta Tzu Chi volunteers have united in doing all they can to present a welcoming atmosphere. Among other activities, over the past 3 months, they have held 8 Jingsi Hall introductory seminars. During one of the introductory seminars, over 400 volunteers gathered to learn more about the Jingsi Hall.
Jingsi Hall is Tzu Chi volunteers' home away from home, and much preparation has gone into preparing for the opening day of Indonesia's Jingsi Hall. This time, 400 Indonesian Tzu Chi volunteers have gathered to get to know the Jingsi Hall inside and out. Every volunteer works hard in cleaning every nook and cranny of the 30,000 square meter Jingsi Hall. Some get down on all fours to wipe clean the floors.
I'm very glad to be here. I'm cleaning and exercising at the same time. We are all in this together, sharing in the blessings. The Jingsi Hall is our home, and we are all part of the blessings.
If our house is clean, we will feel more comfortable. When guests come calling, they will too feel at ease and relaxed. As hosts of the house, we will be happy, and this is the type of home setting we want to present.
Every window, every wall, every corner is meticulously cleaned, and at the same time, souls are cleansed and rid of bad thoughts.
In our feature reports on BRT systems worldwide, today we take a look at how the BRT is also addressing the social needs of a city by bringing fast, convenient, and cheap public transportation to the poorer and remote areas that need it most.
Now I am going from home to school. It takes me about 7 to 8 minutes to get to the bus stop. From the bus, I then transfer to the MRT.
For this student, the commute to school means changing buses 3 times. It is an unfortunate fact that those that need the MRT most usually live the farthest away from it.
Altogether, I commute about 2 hours a day.
As well, with every transfer, a new charge is incurred.
Poor people, they pay twice. It is unfair. So we only think distance, so transport is free.
One of the pillars of the BRT is that transfers are free, which means that those living out of the city's center can enjoy the same public transportation rates as those living nearby.
Most residents live near the BRT line, which means after a quick walk to the nearby BRT line, they can get into the city fast.
The goal of the BRT is not solely to absorb those currently taking the city buses, but also to encourage those who previously used their own transportation to switch. To do this, however, the BRT has to offer transportation that is as efficient as using your own car and at a lower price.
The fare for a single trip is about 10 cents. That's lower than public buses by about 22%.
With riders only paying 10 cents per trip, in order to make ends meet, the BRT depends heavily on government subsidies. But from a social welfare perspective, these low-priced tickets help increase mobility for those from low-income backgrounds, and thus help close the gap between the rich and the poor. Therefore, local governments are using the BRT to encourage development of remote areas.
庄稼地哦，以前这里庄稼地都是种农的，对对对，种玉米的，哦，种麦子。所以现在我们看到这大楼都是新盖的。对对对。哦，我们这小区都是那个从市里搬过来的。
Just depending on car traffic to bring development to business located along roads is not enough, and in fact is sometimes not beneficial to those businesses or the residents living along the roads. With the development of public transportation and the convenience it brings, those areas around roads will become more vibrant.
Thanks to the BRT in Jinnan's formerly less developed eastern and northern districts, new housing has been built along the BRT route. Most of the residents are blue-collar workers that use the BRT to get to and from work.
你也是因为这 BRT 搬来这里的吗？就是如果没有这个公交车，我不会搬。
That's right. If not for the BRT, I wouldn't move here. We have a car, but my children use it. So whenever going out, I take the bus.
Jinnan has used the BRT to promote development citywide. After all, not every place is suitable for a subway. Known for its underground springs and aquifers, and afraid that the construction of a subway line would dirty the purity of the springs, the city of Jinnan chose to develop the BRT instead.
它的车辆数啊，147台。
We have 147 BRT buses, which make up 2.5% of our total fleet, but they carry 230,000 people a day, which accounts for 10% of total ridership. In other words, 2.5% of the buses are carrying 10% of the passengers.
As a transportation tool, the BRT services those communities that depend on public transportation the most, thus helping with economic equality and promoting social mobility. Not bad for a simple bus line.
In Guatemala, Tzu Chi volunteers held a free clinic in San Agustin, a municipality of El Progreso, which is the poorest region of the country. Besides the poor living conditions, the lack of medical services also is a source of problems. Therefore, a local congressman sought help from Tzu Chi to hold a free clinic in hopes of alleviating the pain and suffering brought by illnesses.
A band of students give a performance to welcome Tzu Chi volunteers, as today Tzu Chi will hold a free clinic at the school. The volunteers arrived early to get everything ready. The free clinic was held in El Progreso, a department located in the east of Guatemala. The area is known for its barren soil and dry weather. The shortage of rainfall has caused poor harvests this year, which has further worsened the livelihood of the locals. Therefore, a local congressman asked Tzu Chi for help.
Residents here cannot seek treatment as there is no hospital around. We are thankful for Tzu Chi for holding a free clinic here. You can save their lives as well as conduct health education to prevent future diseases.
This is the first time a charity group is holding a free clinic here. Therefore, many residents show up. Some even walked 2 hours to attend the free clinic in hopes of alleviating the pain caused by their disease.
We can see how happy they are, as this is the first time they feel that someone cares about them. Thank you, Tzu Chi and your medical team. We hope Tzu Chi will come back again.
The free clinic provided 7 types of medical services, as well as sufficient medicine. Volunteers are on hand to not only assist the medical staff, but also care for the residents' needs.
Volunteer work and the Tzu Chi Foundation is a really good place to start. You can learn about Taiwan culture and in the meantime help others in need. It's really an amazing experience.
The free clinic helped over 1,300 patients, and Tzu Chi promises to continue their love and care for these residents.
After Cyclone Nargis devastated Myanmar some 4 years ago, Tzu Chi has carried out short and long-term relief work to help the Burmese people get back on their feet. Over the weekend, Myanmar's education minister arrived in Taipei's Gwandu to visit Tzu Chi's humanitarian center. Let's take a look.
Arriving at the Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center in Gwandu, Taipei, DaAi TV Deputy CEO gives his personal welcome to Myanmar's education minister.
We put our ideals into action. We try bringing happiness to all and alleviating the suffering of the needy.
Passing on Tzu Chi's ideals is no difficult task through a translator. However, the group of delegates listens intently when looking at the equipment.
That channel sends our program out to the world. It's our international channel. The third one, the one currently on air, is our HD channel. I never thought I would have the chance to visit an organization like this, and seeing how your station spends its funds, I was really surprised and grateful.
The visits not only helps these government officials learn more about Tzu Chi, but also brings the relationship between the two countries closer together.
In Malaysia, Zhao Li phoned in an English-speaking volunteers at the Jingsi Books and Cafe in Penang. When there are overseas visitors at the bookstore, she would take charge of the introduction. Zhao was not a confident person when she first arrived, feeling that she was not able to assist much because of her poor Chinese-speaking abilities. But after a shift in mindset, she turned to use her strong English abilities instead.
56-year-old Zhao Lifeng has a full-time job but still makes time to volunteer at the local Jin's Books and Cafe. She is known by her humble smile, but she was not always like this.
I used to be very ill-tempered. If I heard anything I did not like, the anger would show on my face.
After reading Jin's aphorisms, Zhao Lifeng realized that if she can choose to spend her days with bitterness or happiness, why not choose to live it with happiness and laughter instead?
When English-speaking visitors visit here and know there is a volunteer that is able to interact with them in English, they are extremely happy. Tzu Chi has helped so many people, so I feel that if I can tell them about Tzu Chi, we might be able to help them in some way.
From interacting with others and constant self-reflection, Zhao Lifeng is now a gentle and kind person. She hopes to continue improving herself to benefit and help others, while cultivating more and more blessings.
According to statistics, 1 of every 600 newborns in Taiwan is affected with cleft lip with palate deformity. Since 1989, Dr. Samuel Nordhoff has been working to provide all children with the ability to smile without shame. What started in Taiwan has now traveled to 9 different countries and has helped over 1,400 patients.
In the photographs, the innocence of the children is clear despite their facial deformities. In countries like Mongolia and Cambodia, where medical information is lacking, the Nordhoff Craniofacial Foundation, Taiwan, has helped over 1,400 children with a cleft lip or palate. In Taiwan, 1 out of every 600 newborns is born with a deformity.
When he was born, his gum was split about 1.4 centimeters. Looking at it, it's pretty wide, but with today's advanced surgical procedures, the split is already close to 0.
To help in spreading the message in medical care, NCF Taiwan has trained over 120 doctors in cleft lip and palate surgery and has established treatment centers in 10 countries. In this picture, captured by Taiwanese photographer Wang Zhicheng, a boy from Cambodia born with a cleft lip was left with no trace of it after surgery.
You can't tell by looking at him that he's shy about what he looks like.
Besides spreading the message about this in Taiwan, we can continue to spread our message to other countries, as there are other countries that need our help as well.
The Nordhoff Craniofacial Foundation Taiwan held a photography exhibit of the love they have been spreading overseas, and in every picture and in every child, what is captured is the turning point in these children's lives.
At the end of the show, we go back to Indonesia, where Tzu Chi volunteers, Tzu Chi school students, children living at the Cingkarang DaAi village, and students from the Islamic Nonor Iman boarding school came together to put on a series of performances at the opening ceremony of the Indonesia Jingzi Hall. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.